These are 3 balance bowls that I'm loving this summer. Starting with a cold noodle bowl and starting with a marinade for the tofu. So I'm adding tamari sauce, you can also use soy sauce, rice vinegar and garlic powder. Then I just stir it all up. I'm using a firm tofu and cutting it into cubes and adding the cubes into the marinade and letting it marinate for a couple of minutes. So just close the lid and give it a nice shake. Preheat the oven to 180 Celsius degrees. Meanwhile, we're gonna make the dressing. I'm adding some peanut butter. The rest of this footage mysteriously disappeared, but I also added some tamari sauce, rice vinegar, and some maple syrup. So I'm just stirring that up into a thick paste, add some water and stir it into this nice consistency. So now we're gonna bake the tofu. So just add the tofu cubes onto an oven tray lined with parchment paper, even them out and bake them in the oven for about 20 minutes. And now you have time to clean or chill, which leads me to the sponsor of today's video, Blinkist. Blinkist pulls out the key takeaways from books and podcasts and helps you to understand powerful ideas in 15 minutes. You can choose between more than 5,000 non-fiction titles, which are for growth, both personally and professionally. And I really love personal development and psychology, so I'm a fan of books like Finding Your Element, The 5 Love Languages, Atomic Habits, and I can really recommend you Atomic Habits, especially if you have been in a rut and want to make new habits. What hit me the most is that a tiny change won't transform your life overnight, but if you turn it into a habit, even a small habit, it can have a surprisingly powerful impact on your life. Best about this app is that I only get the important parts of a book, and it's also very easy to use and to discover new content that inspires, motivates and gives new perspectives on life. Right now Blinkist has a great offer for you who want to try it out. If you click the link in my description, you start a free 7-day trial with Blinkist and get a 25% off a premium membership. And now back to the noodles. So I'm using soba noodles, and soba noodles are super quick to cook. So I'm just preparing regular soba noodles while I'm prepping the rest of the veggies for the bowl. You can never have enough veggies, so I'm just shredding the red cabbage with an old cheese slicer. Also thinly slicing a carrot and also a cucumber. So now when the tofu is done, we're gonna assemble a bowl, starting with the soba noodles, some cucumber, the carrot, red cabbage, and the yummy tofu, and the amazing dressing. Also some coriander, because I love coriander. This bowl is for all the noodle lovers, including me. This can also be eaten hot as well, but I really like it as a cold bowl, especially now when it's hot. Do not skip the dressing, it is star of this recipe. You can also make this dressing to other bowls, like Asian inspired bowls. Also, do not skip the lime. I really like the limey touch of it all, especially on the red cabbage. Anyways, this bowl is super yummy. Bowl number 2 is another summery Tempeh Panzanella, which originates from Italy. Not the tempeh part, but yeah. So you can pre-boil or simmer the tempeh before you start cooking it. I usually do this because it removes the bitter flavor and it also marinates better, and it's just, yeah, it tastes better. So just chop up your tempeh into cubes and prepare for a marinade. So add the tempeh cubes into a container together with some tamari or soy sauce, and yeah, place a lid over it and give it a nice shake. So while it marinates, preheat the oven to 180 Celsius degrees, and meanwhile we're gonna prepare some croutons. This is the biggest bread I've ever seen. Anyways, just tear the bread apart into the same size as the tempeh cubes. But yeah, it really doesn't matter how you tear them apart. Then add some dried oregano, some garlic powder and salt. Then I'm also adding a splash of olive oil, but you can do this without it. You can just sprinkle some water and the spices will stick. Then just combine it into, until everything is combined. Now you also add tempeh cubes and spread it out evenly. Then bake it in the oven for about 20 minutes. So now we're gonna do the dressing, which I'm adding some olive oil to, some balsamic vinegar, Dijon mustard, maple syrup, water. Then just stir it around until everything is combined. Now for the star of this recipe, fresh, red and juicy tomatoes. I just love tomatoes at the moment, especially Spanish tomatoes. They are yummy. Look how juicy it looks. Anyways, just cut them up into, roughly same size as tempeh and croutons. And also a cucumber into the same sizes. Then just add everything into a bowl, plus some red onion and fresh basil. By now the tempeh and croutons are done, so just add in the tempeh cubes and the croutons and the dressing. If you want your croutons to stay crispy for longer, just add the croutons when you're serving the salad and skip adding them into the bowl with the dressing. But yeah, since we're eating this straight away, I'm just adding everything into a bowl. This bowl is perfect for hot summer days, especially if you have juicy sweet tomatoes laying around. Let me know what you think about it. I just love the tangy dressing with the sweet tomatoes. Yum. Next up is a baba ganoush bowl, one of my favorites lately because I just love baba ganoush. So obviously you're gonna need some aubergines or eggplant, and just slice them lengthwise and place them on an oven tray lined with parchment paper. Then bake them in the oven on 220 Celsius degrees and set the timer on 30 minutes. Meanwhile, we're gonna prepare the rest of the veggies. So here I'm just rinsing some chickpeas, and we're also gonna prepare a sweet potato, so I'm just cutting up in cubes. Then just add the sweet potato and chickpeas to parchment paper together with spices, which are some cumin, salt, dried oregano, smoked paprika, cinnamon, and some black pepper. Then just combine everything. You can do this without oil. When 30 minutes has passed, you just add this tray into the oven and set the timer on additional 25 minutes. Meanwhile, I'm preparing the quinoa. So when the aubergines are done, usually I just poke a few holes with a fork so that they will cool down faster, because you don't want to deal with a super hot aubergine. So next step is to just scoop all the flesh out into a strainer, because I want to drain the excess water. Here you can either do it in a food processor, or as I do the lazy way, just take a scissor and cut all of the strings, because I don't want strings in my baba ganoush. Then add everything to a bowl, and here you can just keep mashing if you haven't done it in a food processor already. So now you want to use a very creamy and smooth tahini, also called tahina, plus some garlic, lemon juice and salt. Then just stir it all together into a very creamy mess. And I know it doesn't look like good at first sight, but it is very good. You can also add in some vegan yogurt here if you want to have it even creamier. So now we're just gonna assemble our bowl, starting with the baba ganoush, some arugula, the quinoa, some red cabbage, which you can add some lemon juice on top of, cucumber, the chickpeas, sweet potatoes and black olives, and voila! If you don't like baba ganoush, hummus is also great in this bowl, but I really dare you to try baba ganoush. It is one of my favorite things to make because it is simply amazing and so creamy and very easy. And yeah, this is also great with a pita bread. Hope you got some inspiration in this video, and I'll see you in the next one.